All right, this is my first Howard Miller World Time clock, and you can kind of tell some of the colors. There's green in there and things like that, but there's the sun. It's kind of faded, and then I got addicted to these clocks, and I found another one. Let me turn around the light here a little bit. This one, much better colors. You can see um, the color of the sun. You see some greens. Um, some of the sea monsters actually have brown on them and things like that. And wouldn't you know, this one actually is in the process of just being tested. This looks like it's ready to go. I found a third one, a third world time clock, which we have here. And look at the colors here. Try to get the glare out of there, but there's the sun. You can kind of tell the palette right there from the world time. This is incredible color. Basically, this looks brand new. So I bought this from Shop Goodwill, even though it has some damage. Basically, a piece of molding here. The return on this side is missing, so I'm going to have to fabricate a custom piece of molding. But given that the condition of this map was so good, and it has the paper scroll is the weak point in these clocks. If they're not maintained and they jam up, they start basically the holes that. Well, I'll show you. Hang on. I'm going to put it at pause. I'm going to turn this clock around and just show you the condition of the scroll in the back of this clock. Well, here you have it. Basically, this is absolutely brand new condition. What happens is if there's problems with the clock, those holes in the bottom that actually are used to drive it are all ripped out. Sometimes you find the scrolls that are totally torn top to bottom because people didn't handle them correctly. Anyway, on this end we've got the motor that turns this spindle, and down on the bottom here it's going to be hard to see, but this is where a black cog comes through and moves the paper scroll. So the condition of this scroll is amazing. So we've got the map on the front that was, beautiful colors. The scroll on the back is everything you'd want to see in a brand new version of this clock. And the only thing that was a couple things that were strange was there's a molding piece I have to make, like I said, and then the power cord was cut off, totally cut off. It's like, So obviously I used some wire nuts, quick fix, just to try this out. And let me plug it in and show you. So I'm always leery of something with a cut off power cord. So I checked for continuity, make sure it wasn't a dead short and things like that. And spliced in the plug and plugged it in, and the clock is running. So once it's plugged in, this motor runs constantly. Obviously it has to keep time. And this scroll will move through. And if you remember on the front, there was all those little windows for the different cities and time zones and things. So basically the current time is showing in there continuously as it goes through. But the other thing that's on here is the original lighting. And you notice they put a 9-inch 6-watt fluorescent tube in these originally. And so I thought, well, maybe that's why the cord was cut off. But you hold it down. There you go. And that light tries to go between the front and the back of the paper scroll to kind of give you illumination. But you can kind of see, and I don't know if you've seen my previous videos, I take this out and I put in LED lighting on the top, like a longer strip, and I put one in from the bottom. So it looks, the saturation of light across the inside of the scroll, and then obviously the projection of it on the other side through the map is much improved. And you don't have the heat. This gets hot. This gets to 100 degrees in temperature Fahrenheit. And this really doesn't get super hot, but heat next to paper isn't a good thing. So I'm extremely happy that this clock is in this condition. Couldn't be happier with The fact that it's, obviously needs some TLC and some, some lubrication on the motor and things like that. And this is a good candidate to get the lighting upgrade. I actually put a little board in here to make sure that the LED strip, which is very thin, obviously, right? But it gets it down into the scroll so you don't have any shadows and things like that. And the same thing on the bottom. I use a 1.5 inch riser board, I call it. And I put that in here to get the bottom LED strips. I just use under cabinet LED lighting and, wire the top to the bottom and things like that, which you can do. Anyway, this clock is a absolute perfect candidate for restoration. We got to fix the molding. That's really the only damage. And it looks like it did fall because you can tell by, these hooks and things are all bent up and stuff. So it had some catastrophe occur to it, but it basically was in a place where it did not get ultraviolet light, and so the map is in such great shape, and the scroll is absolutely what you want to see, and what you would see if it was brand new. And you took the back off. There's a panel here that goes on the back that I've taken off. Super happy. And I promised that I would show you the third world clock when it came in, and here it is.